This person did have access to a large number of weapons.
SWAT standoff in La Jolla. What we've learned just in the last hour about the suspect.
A freeway hoax that shut down a section of the 15 on Thanksgiving. Now the charges the suspect is facing.
And let's just call it Black and Blue Friday. Fists flying again at malls across the country. Shoppers arguing over must-have electronics. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeff Powers.
And I'm Janet Zappala, and we are following some breaking news right now. A car has crashed and gone over 200 feet down an embankment on the northbound side of the 805 freeway near Governor. The car flipped and landed in some heavy brush. Rescuers now trying to get to that car. So far, no word on any injuries or what caused that crash. And of course, we'll bring you more information as it becomes available. And we are following more breaking news overseas tonight. Several people injured, others trapped after a police helicopter crashed on the roof of a crowded Glasgow pub. Right now, rescue operations continue at the pub in the city center. Authorities say some people have been taken to hospitals, but it's still too soon to give any specific numbers. We do have information, however, that some people have died. We just don't know how many yet. The crash happened at 10:30 their time, so the bar was full of patrons.
Really just a remarkable scene. Witnesses spoke of screams, a scene of horror. People ran out of the building covered in blood with gashes and other injuries. Rescuers have made contact with some of those trapped inside, but it's unclear how many people are awaiting rescue. A crew of 3, 2 police officers and a civilian pilot were on that chopper when it went down. No idea right now what caused that crash, but that pub is relatively small. Residents at one UTC apartment complex now back home at this hour after some tense moments tonight when a man threatened to kill his girlfriend. Police officers who showed up to a domestic violence call. Carlos Delgado was there and has our reaction.
They just have police running around with SWAT and dogs.
A dramatic scene at the Torrey Pines Village Apartments in UTC Friday night.
I just pulled up and there was like cops everywhere and they wouldn't let me park. They had guns out. And then they pulled out some guys right now with camo.
Rolando Matias was stuck in the parking lot.
Well, I was kind of worried about my wife, but she's okay.
Police officers told Matias and other people to stay inside their homes after a call came in from a woman that a man in an apartment was armed and threatened to kill or had killed his girlfriend and any cops who showed up.
This person did have access to a large number of weapons.
That's why the SWAT team was called in. The team surrounded the complex on the 8900 block of Lombard Place near Noble Drive, following the domestic violence call.
For whatever reason, he was distraught today.
This is a 29-year-old man cops were looking for. The unidentified man eventually surrendered peacefully after negotiating with officers by phone for almost 2 hours. Police say his 29-year-old girlfriend was found in the complex safe and unharmed. Officers say the suspect had numerous guns registered to him.
We're going to be evaluating his mental state, as well as if there were any laws broken here, the extent of the weapons.
In UTC, Carlos Delgado, San Diego 6 News.
Well, as you know, it is Black Friday, and most stores all across San Diego County are packed. Shoppers on the hunt for those super deals. Most stores do have extended hours as well, including one here in Kearny Mesa.
Didn't make it out to Black Friday this year. Carlos joins us tonight from Walmart in Kearny Mesa. And, well, Carlos, not a lot happening locally. As across the country, though, there's been some incidences.
Yeah, it's very quiet here at this Walmart. I did talk to employees just a short time ago, and they say everything is under control. A lot of people doing some last-minute shopping right now here at this Walmart off of Claremont Mesa Boulevard. This store will remain open until 1 o'clock this morning, and then the employees will have to have just a few hours to restock the shelves for the shoppers who will be back at 6 o'clock in the morning when the doors open. Once again, Black Friday has been busy at stores throughout San Diego County at many malls, including this Walmart here. So what are people buying today? Well, I talked to some people and they told me they're going for the electronics, things like computers, laptops, Kindles, and let's not forget those big TV screens. I also checked with the staff here and they told me that today is like any other Black Friday. It was hard to keep the shelves stocked because people are buying just about everything inside the store. Here's what some shoppers had to say about Black Friday overall.
It looks like it's a mess in there. Everyone's cleaning up. Yeah.
The shelves?
Shelves are cleared out, everything. I went to get some whole milk and a quart of milk and they don't even have that.
A lot of electronics, probably. TVs,
DVDs, Blu-rays, games, you know. For the
Some of
kids.
them on sale.
They should be, yeah.
So I did check with the store employees just a short time ago, and they told me that there's still some good sales here, some televisions, and people are actually coming in here to buy some of those electronics and TVs, and of course those sales will continue throughout the weekend. That's the latest from Kearney Mesa. Carlos Delgado, San Diego 6 News.
Carlos, thank you. It may have been mellow here in Southern California, but Thanksgiving shopping did turn violent. At least 2 Walmart stores as eager shoppers scrambled to buy discounted TVs. There you go. Hashtag Walmart fights trended on Twitter with reports filling social media of scuffles at stores. Video posted on YouTube, a woman at a Walmart store in North Carolina repeatedly screamed, "Oh my God," as a few dozen people crowded around TVs began pushing each other. Pepper spray was actually released. One man threw another man to the ground during a scuffle. Police threw a woman to the ground and restrained her after a skirmish with another shopper. And yikes, in Philadelphia, early morning holiday shopping turned to chaos at a mall. Fists turned to the use of a taser. Mall management says the fight broke up quickly. Philadelphia police say they never heard about the incident. No word if anyone was seriously injured.
Well, a Florida man facing charges tonight after leaving his baby in the car while he shopped on Black Friday.
You don't have any comment at all, but it wasn't intentional?
That's the father there, 34-year-old Hyder Darwash, who obviously did not want to be on camera. Police say a man flagged down a trooper last night at a Best Buy concerned that a baby was alone in a car. The trooper says he got on the loudspeaker with shoppers outside. Then after about 10 minutes, he broke the window to rescue the baby. The baby was described as lethargic but unharmed. An additional 10 minutes later, the father returned to his car. He said he thought his wife had the child. Investigators say she too was shopping but was not charged.
Shoppers can look forward to increased mall security this season as extra patrols are placed throughout San Diego shopping centers. The extra patrol is part of the Sheriff's Department's annual Holiday Watch program kicking off this week. Officials said additional patrols planned around parking lots, transit stops, and other hot spots for criminal activity. Undercover ops are also planned to support uniform patrols.
And the California Highway Patrol releasing its annual holiday stats today, reporting 1 fatality on Thanksgiving Day. It happened in Oceanside when a pedestrian was struck by the mirror of one vehicle, then run over by a second. Last year, there was also 1 fatality in San Diego County. 22 people arrested for driving under the influence, which happens to be 1 less than last year. The reporting period ran from 6 o'clock last night to 6 o'clock this morning. And a felony warrant suspect is in custody tonight after leading police on a high-speed chase ending in a crash into a home. That pursuit beginning in the College area, then in the direction of Friars Road before heading onto the 163. The chase ended when the suspect crashed his SUV into a home in Linda Vista. Family members, including kids and a baby, were all home at the time of that crash. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
24-year-old man in the hospital tonight fighting for his life after being badly beaten outside of a karaoke bar last night. Jessie O, the sister of victim Andrew O, says her brother and his friends went to celebrate his roommate's birthday at this karaoke bar in Kearney Mesa. Jessie says after paying their bill, Andrew stepped outside. Something happened in the parking lot and he was found beaten. He's in the hospital suffering from severe head trauma. Jessie says her brother has never been in trouble. Andrew just graduated from UCSD and was working as a computer engineer for Qualcomm.
I mean, we're just trying to stay positive. We're praying. We're asking everybody to pray. We want justice for him, and we want to know, like, who did this to him, because he didn't deserve this.
Police investigating the incident are asking anyone with information to contact SDPD. The largest swell to hit San Diego in a month came ashore today. Surfers rejoice. Forecasters say the swell produced 3 to 4 feet waves on Thanksgiving, but then today 4 to 9 footers. It was beautiful Black Friday for surfers. The swell coming from the west-northwest. Powerful rip currents also expected. Water temps around 62 degrees, which surfers don't mind as well as long as the swells are this good. Wow.
Northwest groundswell. It's been pretty flat out there for the last month, and finally got some winter waves. Crowd was pretty mellow. Everybody's up at Scripps and up north. Surfline was calling that good, and crowd was mellow here, so that's why we paddled out here.
Boy, the standout spot's going to be in Oceanside, Swamis, Black's Beach, and Wind and Sea. And I saw a couple of photos today from Black's Beach, and it looked like the pipeline in Hawaii. It looked spectacular.
Swell day for the surfers.
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
Little cloudy.
That was good.
She said swell.
That was
Day
good.
for the surf.
Take it away,
Even though the high surface virus has been discontinued, I will say strong rip currents are still anticipated. Even tomorrow, we'll get into that a little bit later on. Whatever little sprinkles or light showers are out there right now, they're dying down as we speak. If anything is left over, but really a picture-perfect Saturday on tap. Temperatures will be about a couple 2 to 3 degrees warmer than today, but a weekend warm-up is going to be on the way, especially for Sunday. That'll probably be the warmest day of the weekend itself. My name may not be Serena, but the weekend's going to be looking fine. The 7th day coming up in just a few. Guys?
Very good. Mother Nature at work. Mount Etna in Italy erupting again for the second time in just 5 days. Images you don't want to miss.
And the family of an American man speaking out, they say he is being held in a Dubai prison for posting this video online. What the U.S. Embassy tonight doing to help set him free.
San Diego 6 News at 10.
As you well know, it's a must-win game for the Chargers Sunday against the Bengals at 5-6. The Bolts in the hunt for the last playoff berth in the AFC. They just can't afford any more slip-ups. The Bengals bring a balanced football team to town. They play stingy defense. They've got a potent offense, too. It features one of the game's best wide receivers in A.J. Green. But we're talking about that blackout. Remember, the Chargers game is not going to be shown on local TV. Head coach Mike McCoy addressed it after practice.
We've had great fan support all year long, but my number one concern is trying to find ways to win football games. That's our job here. So we got to win games, and the more you win, they'll come.
Kickoff set for 1:25. The Bengals lead the AFC North by just a game and a half over the Ravens, so the game is a big one for them as well.
Elizabeth Smart, the woman who was kidnapped and held captive for months, will be the keynote speaker during next year's San Diego Women's Week. Smart, as you might recall, was kidnapped at the age of 14, then held for 9 months before finally being freed by police in Utah. Organizers say the 26-year-old Smart will talk about how her faith helped her to survive, how she found the strength to confront her captors at trial, and the secret to rebuilding her life. By the way, San Diego Women's Week begins March 17th of next year.
Seems to be a seemingly harmless and silly video, but it has landed one U.S. citizen behind bars in Dubai. Tonight, his family hoping the U.S. officials can do all they can to get him freed. Ted Rowlands with the story.
The art of satwa fighting.
This 20-minute video about fictitious crime fighters in suburban Dubai may have landed 29-year-old Shazan Kasim, a U.S. citizen from Minnesota, in prison.
It's like someone in the United States making a parody video of a Brooklyn hipster and then getting thrown in jail for it and being held in jail for months without bail. That's what's going on here.
In the video, which begins with a disclaimer explaining that it's fiction, you can see Kasim as he and others pretend to use shoes and cell phones as weapons while supposedly patrolling the streets of an affluent neighborhood.
Excuse me, it's a very dangerous area. Where are you going?
Kasim, who has been working in Dubai for 7 years as a business consultant, has been in jail since April.
What I think we need to do is to call attention to this so that the United Arab Emirates steps back and looks at this again and expedites this case so that there's justice for this young man and his family.
CNN has not confirmed the exact charges Kasim is facing in the United Arab Emirates. Kasim's family says they have no idea how long this will go on, and they're worried.
It's just a straightforward, silly comedy video, and he's being treated like some sort of dangerous criminal that they have to keep under high security, maximum security conditions.
State Department says that both it and the U.S. mission in UAE are troubled by Kasim's prolonged incarceration. The U.S. Embassy and Consulate General are negotiating with their counterparts to urge that Kasim get a fair trial.
Another night eruption of Mount Etna, where lava has literally set fire to the snow-capped peak of the highest volcano in Europe. Take a look at this. Only 5 days after the last eruption, lava is spewing once again.
Wow. Clearly
visible even from a distance. Yeah, those are great pictures. Luckily, no homes are being affected, but we are told the local airport has had to cancel some flights.
Well, now we're talking. Now we can transition to CS Keys because we might have a little fog maybe.
Yeah, no fog. It's going to be pretty nice. I mean, high
right.
pressure is going to start building over the weekend. In fact, it's a picture-perfect weekend to be in San Diego. So special shout out to the Lee family. Well, my girl Jane Lee, our assignment editor upstairs. Her
Oh yes,
mom and dad
of
are in
course.
town.
I know, and
very
great,
nice
great.
people.
We
so
love Jane.
Perfect time to be in San Diego. Enjoy yourself. You got a beautiful daughter, and
Yes.
forecast is going to be beautiful too. We'll call
Wow,
it the Jane
listen
Lee
to you.
forecast.
You're
There
being
you go.
very,
There you
very
go.
sweet tonight, CS.
That's how I am. That's what I am. 63 degrees right now at Lindbergh Field. Relative humidity checking in at 70%. Barometer right now is holding steady, and the winds are basically on the calm side. And they will remain calm throughout the entire weekend, too. We had that area of low pressure that's worked itself down to the south right now. There was a little bit of precipitation that picked up a little bit earlier today. In fact, officially at Lindbergh Field, we only picked up 1/100th of an inch of rainfall. Now, I will say the folks in Fallbrook, you guys had a little bit more substantial rainfall, but for the most part, whatever leftover sprinkles from that system, it's going to be gone by tonight. I think right now it's basically gone down, but if you step outside late tonight, you see a sprinkler or two, it's going to be ending as we get into the overnight hours. What's going to happen, though, is high pressure is going to build it from the north, allowing us nice little offshore flow to take place. That offshore flow is going to allow temperatures to come up a little bit. Starting tomorrow, we'll start feeling it. Only a couple degrees warmer tomorrow, but Sunday will be the warm day. Now, again, as we remind you again, if you're headed to the beach, the high surf advisory has been discontinued. However, dangerous rip currents are still a good possibility, so please be careful out there in the water. Other than that, good conditions as far as surfing out of the west-northwest, around 4 to 6 footers. At times, we could have 7 footers. High tide will take place early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., just after 6. At that point, it'll be right around 6 feet. Take a look at the 7-day forecast, and I think Sunday is going to be the best day of the weekend itself, even though Saturday is going to be nice. We're talking about low 70s tomorrow, but Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if we kissed that 80-degree mark along the coast, but definitely in the inland areas. Then a big change is going to come for the first half of next week. Maybe some scattered showers in the forecast starting Wednesday. Same thing in the mountain communities where temperatures definitely plummet. By Thursday, we could have a mixture of snow and rain, and in the desert communities, you'll stay out of the 80s. You might get near 80 on Sunday, but other than that, though, as we begin the week, start out in the mid to upper 70s, then dropping off into the mid 60s. So overall, the weekend itself is looking picture perfect. If you don't have any plans, make some. If you got some plans, keep them and get out there and enjoy yourself.
You're not kidding. It is looking fine.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Ian.
Good advice, CS. Thank you. Online backlash after one of Mitt Romney's sons helps rescue 4 people in a crash and then post a picture on Twitter. What people are saying about him. And your comments next. One of Mitt Romney's sons in the right place at the right time. Josh Romney tweeting out his role in helping to rescue several people hurt in a traffic accident in Utah.
And police say it all happened this morning when the driver missed an exit, then veered off the road, crashing into a house. Officers say it was a miracle that Romney was there to pull people to safety. The car and the house had a lot of damage, but luckily nobody was seriously injured. Police believe a medical condition may have been a factor, but they're still investigating. And after the accident, Romney posted this picture on Twitter. The tweet read, "Was first on scene to big accident. See pic of car in the house. I lifted 4 people out to safety. All okay."
He also posted the picture on Facebook, which ignited a firestorm of criticism online. People calling him names, claiming he's arrogant for bragging online. Want to know what you think about the incident? Discussion underway on our San Diego 6 Facebook page. Heather says, glad he was there to help. But Angelica, he is a hero. He selflessly helped those in need and saved lives. How many of the critics would do the same?
Mark says it's not selfless when you take pics and brag about it and call attention to yourself. That's the opposite of selfless. You think there's just a shred of being a little facetious there? And Ray says Dad taught him well. As always, you can chime in on our San Diego 6 Facebook page. A brilliant light show in Texas, but the lighting bill must be astronomical. We'll take you there next.
We'll have a look at this holiday light show in Grand Prairie, Texas. It's known as the annual Prairie Lights display.
Yeah, a lot of people apparently put this whole thing together. 4 million Christmas lights illuminate a 2-mile path for people to drive through, as you can see.
Wow.
And visitors can stop for food, gifts, and rides along the way, and then top off the whole visit with a hello to Santa. Who else, right?
I would love to do that. I think that's a great way to spend the holiday spirit, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Well, coming up in the next half hour, a story you have to hear if you're shopping online this holiday season.
One couple facing a financial nightmare after getting poor service and then posting a bad review. Why they're now facing a $3,500 fine and how you can avoid being a victim.
As you wake up tomorrow morning, a few high clouds no matter where you wake up, be it Chula Vista, La Jolla, or Ramona, but those clouds will clear rather quickly. Temperatures will rise up into the low 70s. The complete weekend forecast coming up in a few.
And e-cigarettes in the headlines again. How the popular device caught on fire and what you can do to prevent this from happening to you.
San Diego 6 News at 10.
Police are asking for the public's help in finding the person who stabbed a 67-year-old man multiple times in Vista. The victim was assaulted by an unknown man about 7:30 this morning on Carriage Circle. The man's in the hospital with life-threatening wounds. He is listed in stable condition. The suspect in his late 20s, about 5'10", with dark brown buzz cut and tattoo on his neck. Anyone with information is asked to contact authorities.
And a man who is critically injured after being stabbed at a Carlsbad mall is in the hospital tonight. It happened just after midnight at the Plaza Camino Real Mall. Suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Javier Covarrubias. The victim was stabbed in the stomach outside the mall entrance. Police say Covarrubias and his accomplice fled the scene on foot towards a movie theater where he was finally detained by police. He's been arrested and now booked for assault with a deadly weapon. His accomplice so far has not been found. A Thanksgiving Day hoax that made holiday travel unnecessarily difficult for thousands of people. We told you about this last night. Tonight, 28-year-old Victor Manuel Diaz is behind bars for allegedly prank calling his sister and saying there was a bomb in her car. Authorities shut down part of I-15 and called in the bomb squad. The woman told police she got an anonymous call from someone who claimed he'd put a bomb in her vehicle. Diaz was later arrested on 2 felony counts of making threats. He's being held tonight on $50,000 bail. The I-15 closures lasted for over 2 hours.
A little girl who was found wandering the streets of Ocean Beach late last night is in protective custody tonight. Police say the child was spotted by a woman near the corner of Pescadero Avenue and Sunset Cliffs Boulevard about 11 last night. The child is safe thanks to a good Samaritan, but it was a close call. With busy streets and the ocean nearby, the story could have had a much different ending.
We all know each other, you know, we know each other from the beach and from walking around. People say hello to each other, so it wouldn't surprise me if they recognized the baby and knew right where to bring him.
Police believe the child got out of a back screen door that was left open. They say the girl's mother called them about 3 hours after the child was found to report her missing. The toddler remains at the Polinsky Center for evaluation. She was not injured.
A couple in Salt Lake City is facing a nightmare situation after doing what many of us do during the holidays, shop online. They were fined and their credit took a hit, all because they posted a bad review about a website. Well, their story is a lesson for anyone who shops online. Pamela Brown has more.
John Palmer bought a few Christmas gifts for his wife Jen on the website cleargear.com in 2008, never imagining he'd still be paying the price 5 years later. The Palmers say the items they ordered never arrived. The transaction was canceled.
After 30 days or so, PayPal said, hey, there's no activity here. And they turned around and gave the money back into my husband's account and effectively canceled the sale.
After repeated calls to Clear Gear to find out what happened, Jen Palmer posted this review of the company on ripoffreport.com, saying in part, there is absolutely no way to get in touch with a physical human being. No extensions work. Fast forward 3.5 years, the Palmers received this email appearing to be from Clear Gear stating they'd be fined $3,500 if the negative review wasn't taken down in 72 hours.
We were shocked that somebody would actually attempt to do this because it's ridiculous that anybody would turn around and try to extort us like this.
Have you ever heard of anything like this?
I've never heard of anything like this happening to the consumer, only because retailers mainly protect the consumer.
The email cited this obscure non-disparagement clause in the terms of use contract that says your acceptance of this sales contract prohibits you from taking any action that negatively impacts cleargear.com. Legal experts warn more and more companies are adding this type of language in the fine print as protection.
The First Amendment does not protect certain kinds of free speech. And you can sign a contract giving away your free speech rights if it's a fair contract. This contract, though, is not fair, and frankly, it would be thrown out by any court.
We found other examples of non-disparagement clauses in customer agreements, including this one from a vacation rental company threatening to charge customers up to $10,000 in damages if a post containing unreasonable negative sentiment isn't removed. The company told CNN it stands by its practice. The Palmers couldn't take down the review and refused to pay up. Cleargear apparently then reported the bills as unpaid to a collections company.
It was bad enough that when we went to get a second car, it took them a month to find a bank that was willing to finance us because of the huge ding that this puts on our credit.
CNN tried multiple phone numbers listed on Cleargear's website, all of them disconnected. Cleargear.com did respond via email to our affiliate KUTV defending its actions. The Palmers say they're taking their fight all the way to court.
We don't want them to get away with this. Apparently, we're not the only people that they have done this to. We're just the only ones who are fighting back. And we're not giving up.
And the Better Business Bureau is investigating and has put the company on alert. Retail analysts suggest during this busy online shopping season, read the fine print and make sure a company is legitimate. If you do write a negative review, make sure it's accurate because you can be sued for libel even if they don't have the clause.
Incredible story there. Some of us can't be bothered to battle the Black Friday hordes, opting instead just give a gift card. They may be more convenient, but not necessarily hassle-free. Zane Asher with more.
It's the #1 gift, the thing 80% of Americans plan to buy this year, the saving grace for last-minute shoppers, people who don't know what to buy, and those who want to avoid this. It's the gift card. The National Retail Federation says gift card spending will hit a record high this year, with shoppers spending an average of $163 on them. And why not? After all, retailers are making it easier than ever. Many stores allow shoppers to buy online and email the gift card to the recipient. At Starbucks, you can actually tweet a gift card, but not all cards are created equal. Bankrate checked out a handful of them and found that general-purpose gift cards, the ones you can use anywhere and that have an American Express, Visa, Discover or MasterCard logo, typically come with fees. Most of them charge an inactivity fee if you don't use all the money after 1 year. Some also charge a fee just to buy the gift card, anywhere from $3 to $7. On the other hand, not charging purchase fees, most retailers. So before you buy, be sure to read the fine print. I'm Zane Asher in New York.
A reading of the fine print tonight. They say that e-cigarettes are better for your health, except for when they catch on fire inside your home. Could you imagine? One Colorado man found out the hard way after switching from regular cigarettes to e-cigarettes. He says he walked upstairs after hearing a strange noise, only to find his e-cigarette wouldn't stop charging and caught on fire.
Didn't stop charging. It's like when you keep filling up a gas tank, it just kept going. I mean, I try to use an e-cigarette to quit smoking. I'm back on normal cigarettes now, because obviously it's not the safer alternative.
Not the first report of e-cigarettes catching on fire. It's recommended if you smoke e-cigarettes, do not leave it charging for more than a few hours at a time. Explosion rocked a pipeline company in central Missouri. There you see it. Wow. See the flames from this video on a phone camera inside a nearby home. Representatives for Panhandle Eastern Pipeline say the blast was the result of a rupture at a compressor station. No one was injured. That's hard to believe. People could see the explosion from 30 miles away.
Well, the deadline to get the healthcare.gov website up and running is fast approaching, and many wonder, will it be ready on time? Tomorrow is the day. The Obama administration has promised that website will be up and working properly, and the White House is optimistic it will be ready. So far, the site has not been able to handle the huge numbers of users. The White House advises people to log on during off-peak hours like early morning or late at night.
We will be following that tomorrow. Let's see how it goes.
It'll make news either way.
It will. Mexican drug cartels always finding new ways to get their product across the border, no matter who gets caught in the crosshairs.
Smugglers now targeting Century Pass users. San Diego 6's Susana Franco has a warning from local law enforcement.
It's the latest scheme used to cross drugs into the U.S. by bold smugglers, turning innocent border crossers into so-called blind mules.
We're not even safe anymore.
A bold, dangerous drug smuggling operation has U.S.-Mexico border commuters on edge, some even fearing for their life.
Talk about changing your life in just a moment.
They will use whatever means they can in order to bring across drugs.
And that means preying on the innocent. Thanks in part to the FBI, a complex drug trafficking scheme across the southwest borders has been uncovered. It involves unsuspecting victims, so-called blind mules.
They would have lookouts at the port of entry, and they would identify vehicles that had these Sentry passes.
Sentry users are easy to identify with this sticker on the windshield. They use special lanes to cross the border and are searched less at the checkpoint, making them a perfect target for smugglers. Drug traffickers plant a GPS tracking device underneath the vehicle. With special magnets, they secure drug packages underneath. They then follow the unwitting drug smuggler. If they cross successfully, they wait until the victim walks away from the car to retrieve the load of drugs. But what happens if the victim is caught?
We listen to what people have to say, and then we look at the evidence, and then we proceed with an investigation.
What happens to that person meantime?
They're in custody.
So far this year, there have been 10 cases documented in Tijuana where so-called blind mules have been targeted by drug traffickers. In all these cases, the unsuspecting victim just happened to discover the drugs before reaching the international checkpoint.
There's been public service announcement in Tijuana about this.
This Tijuana border crosser wanted his identity concealed. He fears he could be a target. It's been happening in his neighborhood.
We have to check our cars. If anything suspicious, we can't move our cars. We have to call directly to the police.
Just this year, Customs and Border Patrol changed the Sentry Pass program. Users are no longer required to have the windshield decal displayed, but it won't stop there.
Law enforcement agencies that are responsible for protecting that border see a number of things. They are inundated with these new techniques that these criminal enterprises are trying to employ.
While they work to disrupt and dismantle the drug gangs, they want the public to be aware.
Take the few minutes that it takes to look under your car, open your trunk.
Those few minutes can make a world of difference.
I'm a Sentry user, and it takes me less than 20 minutes to cross the borders, but those 20 minutes, I can go to jail.
Law enforcement wants to remind border commuters to know your car and never lend it out to anyone. If you do feel something's wrong or suspicious, contact authorities immediately. Susana Franco, San Diego 6 News.
Great stuff, Susana. Thank you for that. A clumsy crook caught on surveillance camera. A robber holds up a convenience store, gets money and beer, but can't make a clean getaway.
How the clerk stalled and distracted the crook until police could arrive.
Wow, and driverless cars no longer just dreams. Where are these cars being developed and how soon they could be on our roads?
Well, driverless cars are no longer just the dreams of science fiction writers. They're really the car of the future, and the future is just about here.
Can you believe this? British engineers working with the government developed driverless car-like pods to help ease those crowded streets. Jim Bolden with more.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
Michael Knight had one, a driverless car, though Kit had a host of sci-fi gadgets to help Knight fight crime. 30 years on, and this is more the reality of a driverless vehicle, a two-seater electric pod. These are expected to be running on designated pathways in the British city of Milton Keynes in coming years. Airports already have similar pods running on designated rails to and from terminals and parking lots, but they aren't running on city streets.
Car able to take control.
And what about real cars with no drivers? Nissan and the University of Oxford already are testing actual driverless electric cars. To allay worries about safety, they've released videos showing how cameras and sensors are used to stop the car. The engineers say their navigation system with an off-the-shelf computer adds less than $8,000 to the price of an auto. all controlled not from a steering wheel, but from an iPad. Michael Knight may have gotten kit from a mysterious industrialist. Now the British government is offering $120 million to business to test a host of different low-carbon engines. $2.4 million on these driverless pedestrian pods. Coming soon to the town of Milton Keynes, the government wants 100 of these on pathways by 2017. Jim Bolden, CNN, London.
Future is here. Safety was on the minds of engineers at Cape Canaveral during a scheduled rocket launch. Technical difficulties stalled the launch of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. The private exploration company set to send their satellite 50,000 miles into space, but the company founder says it's better to be paranoid and wrong. This is the second time in 3 days the launch has been canceled. Efforts will continue in a few days.
Well, you might recall that strange-looking fish washing up on the California coast not too long ago.
Yeah.
Scientists now trying to uncover more of its secrets. That's right, marine biologists plan to recreate a three-dimensional model of that oarfish, a huge serpent-like sea creature. Hardly anything is known about the species that lives some 3,000 feet under the ocean. Scientists hope by creating a 3D bio-robotic model, they'll be able to learn more about its anatomy and how it moves. Strange-looking fish. There is something to be said about karma, and for one Florida armed robber, some say, well, he got exactly what he deserved. It was a quiet Thanksgiving at a Shell gas station until the armed gunman held up the store. Well, luckily, the gas station clerk stayed calm. He outsmarted the suspect by stalling for time after pressing the silent alarm. The clerk gives the man the cash he demands, then befriends him, asking him if he wants the money double bagged and if he wants to grab some beer. Well, eventually, it's all too much to carry, and the gunman starts dropping his loot. This gives police just enough time to show up and
There's
arrest
his beer, and there goes
the
his
robber.
beer.
You think he learned a lesson?
I think he did. I think he did. That's very smart,
On the part of
intelligent
the
way
clerk,
to deal
yeah,
with that, right?
to stay that calm under those
What more would you
circumstances.
like, sir? Yes.
Just calm
The
like
lesson is,
CSTs.
kids, go to class, get education. It ain't smart robbing folks all the time.
Good advice.
That's right. Temperatures outside right now, not too bad. We do have one area reporting 60, that's downtown at 63 degrees. Everywhere else in the 50s except for Ramona and also Julian, both diddling at 49 degrees. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned tomorrow, we topped out officially today at 66 degrees. Keep in mind, tomorrow we'll probably hit around 72. That's about 6 degrees warmer than today, and it'll be like that around the county too. 72 in Claremont, probably 72 degrees in Coronado. La Jolla, you might check in at 71. Same thing in National City. In the North County, not bad at all. We'll be in the 70s as well. Nice little warm up for you folks too. Farbrook will hit 76 degrees, 2 less than that in Escondido, 70 in Mira Mesa. Poway, you could check in at 72 degrees. And out in the East County, it's going to be a nice day with a lot of sunshine with rather calm winds too. 73 degrees in El Cajon, 71 in Santee, same thing in Ramona, and Julian will check in at a cool 58 degrees. If you're headed to the beach, a reminder again, the high surf advisory has been discontinued. However, very dangerous rip currents are anticipated tomorrow, so please be careful in the water. Go with someone who's very experienced, or definitely swim near a lifeguard station. But we have good conditions out of the west-northwest. High tide will take place tomorrow morning at 6:35. Speaking of tomorrow, take a look at the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow's going to be beautiful. Sunday, even better yet. We'll be in the low 80s inland areas on Sunday, but then by midweek next week, we'll have a nice little cold front coming through here. Temperatures will drop down dramatically, and we'll have some scattered showers in the forecast. Same thing in the mountain and desert communities. The rain should hold off in the desert communities, but in the mountain areas, the temperatures will dip down into the 40s by Wednesday. We could have a mixture of snow then too, but up until that point, enjoy the weekend, because nothing but sunshine promised in the mountains and also in the deserts. Going to be a picture-perfect weekend as we say goodbye to November 2013 and say hello to December 2013 on Sunday. Look how fast that went.
It is just like a blur. But as usual, San Diego giving weather for just about everybody. Something for everybody.
You're welcome.
We got a little surprise today.
You are looking a lot like Mother Nature these days.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate that.
Well, Glee's celebrating...
no comment.
They're celebrating their 100th episode. You think it's easy, guys? And they plan to let the fans pick the songs.
Thank you, Mother.
Find out how you can vote. Behave, guys. Behave.
You've all heard of Elf on the Shelf. Little guy comes out only at the holidays and watches over your little ones for Santa. Well, now that can come out another time of year. The multi-million-dollar book and doll phenomenon will have a birthday edition. More than 6 million copies of the holiday version have been sold since being introduced in 2005. The birthday edition comes with a little cupcake outfit for the elf and is expected to hit shelves this week.
We'll be looking for that. Well, she was best known for playing Ed Norton's long-suffering wife, Trixie, on a revival of The Honeymooners, and now actress Jane Keane has died at the age of 90. Her niece confirms Keane died after taking a fall that then led to a stroke. Keane once said during an interview that fans of the show really thought that she was Trixie. That's how good an actress she was.
She was a great actress. Showrunners of the hit show Glee giving its fans the power to control the track list for its 100th show. On the show's website, Gleeks can choose up to 10 songs from 30 previously performed hits from the show. Song choices include Artie's version of Safety Dance, that's CS's favorite, Santana's version of Valerie, and Finn and Rachel's rendition of Keep Holding On. Top 10 songs will be remixed and performed on the 100th show airing March 18th.
Well, Billy Joel is Billboard's top Hanukkah celebrator. Joel tops the music publications list of the top 30 Jewish musicians. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer has 7 top 5 hits, including a trio of #1 hits. And coming in at #2, Neil Diamond, who has sold over 125 million records worldwide. And rounding out the top 3, that lady right there, Barbra Streisand.
Neil and Billy Joel, 2 of my favorites.
Me too.
Yeah, they're great.
And Barbara.
A little holiday cheer at the White House coming up. The First Lady there for the arrival of the giant Christmas tree, how tall it is and where it's going to be displayed this year. Little Christmas cheers arrived at the White House. By the way, look at how tall the girls are getting. We're noticing that, right?
They have
the Obama
shot
girls,
up,
haven't they? First Lady Michelle and the daughters, Shasha and Malia, welcomed the official White House Christmas tree this morning.
The 18.5-foot tall Douglas fir is from the Crystal Spring Tree Farm in Pennsylvania. And per tradition, the tree will be on display in the Blue Room.
Yeah, I saw a lot of cars today with trees on top of them, and you know.
Yeah, it's the day after Thanksgiving.
Day after Thanksgiving. This is the time.
And there's a very short span between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year.
Definitely short.
Yeah.
Less than a month.
Yeah. Lost a week this year.
It's Hanukkah, Christmas is coming up, all kinds of holidays.
Already got my tree up.
No,
Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
See you.
Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
You don't know that. I gotta have it up.